Some fighters are born to achieve greatness and become champions. But legendary boxer and future Hall of Famer Bernard Hopkins got there the hard way.
I wanted to be good at everything I did. I wanted to be the baddest guy in North Philly, the baddest guy in the neighborhood.
46-year-old Bernard Hopkins has finally achieved what seemed impossible in passing George Foreman to become the oldest champion in boxing history.
To have the experience which you have to live to have and have to go through things, that's my advantage.
This is Ring Life. Bernard Hopkins.
I always go back to where I came from. Everybody in my family can fight, including my sisters. My mother was never boxed, but I seen her throw some good left hooks every now and then.
Born and raised in one of Philadelphia's most dangerous neighborhoods, Hopkins honed his survival skills there and wears his North Philly battle scars as a badge of honor.
I was known as being a street fighter, and I had a few amateur fights young. When you step out of that house and you into your own world, which is the streets, you have one side of the projects fighting the other side. That tension was a drug to me. I seen people shot and I walked over them, or I seen people get robbed and we looked the other way, or we ran because we was younger. I seen how the lambs in the neighborhood, the less aggressive people, was treated. The wolf, an aggressive person, had the respect. He had the girls, he had the respect of the other guys. So how can I be on the other side? It started recklessly from there. When I was 15 years old, I got into a fight. You're in the same area, you're in the same neighborhood. It's not hard to find you. Well, he stabbed me 2 times.
Knives and guns were the tools of the trade in North Philly, but Hopkins' weapon of choice was his air of intimidation and brute strength.
And I've been stabbed 2 more times by 2 different people. If I didn't jump back, it's a natural reaction. Guy got a knife, pokes it at you, you jump back. The tip fell short of my heart. Punctured lung, I believe I had, but it was more of a badge of honor that somehow you escaped death. I never used a pistol or gun or knife. I always had demeanor to get what I want.
Being 15 and fearless was a nearly fatal mix, as Hopkins defied laws and demanded respect. But the Pennsylvania juvenile correction system would deliver the final blow.
My luck ran out. At 17, I got certified as an adult. And that's when high school quickly became the University of Greater Falls State Penitentiary.
17-year-old Hopkins was sentenced to 18 years in prison for strong-armed robbery.
When I went to prison, it took a year and a half for me to even think about boxing. My name had traveled from the streets to the penitentiary. I went right into that survival mode. You trust no one. In jail, nothing is free. You can buy anything in jail, from sex, clothes, drugs. If you want a knife, they got things that they can make knives out of. The littlest instrument can be the deadliest thing to your life. Yeah, I've seen people get stabbed in the neck for a TV because the guy came up and he turned the station, or he accidentally stepped over the plug and the plug came out and something good was on. A guy named Michael Wilson, a.k.a. Smokey Wilson, became my trainer. Trainers are inmates. The trainers is nobody from the streets. These are older guys that know boxing by watching TV, or at one time they boxed before. So they match everybody up. Everything becomes a little city of competition. Once I got involved in boxing again and got that love back for it, I became one of the top fighters in the 38 penitentiaries from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. And they had a system where you would go to other jails and actually box other inmates. I don't want to box this guy. He's bigger than me. You can't say that in penitentiary. It's like there's no crying in baseball. You can't say that you don't want to fight nobody in prison. You have to scrap up and fight. And other inmates follow me as a hero. I became their champion.
Hopkins spent nearly 5 years in prison, making a name for himself as a warrior on the block and a contender in the ring. But when he was released in 1988, it was his setbacks in the ring that would ultimately create a champion.
In 1988, I was in a halfway house for 9 months. And I wanted to box because I had it in my blood. I was training for the last 2 years. I got the love back for it. I started training harder. And they set a fight up for me. I lost the first fight. It was a 4-rounder. I lost to a guy that's in the record books right now named Clinton Mitchell. And from 89 to 90, I didn't box at all. 90 was a transition to either go back to prison or continue boxing.
After his first professional loss, Hopkins did not return to the ring until 1990. He poured his soul into training and went on to score 22 victories before losing in 1993 to Roy Jones Jr. In 1995, Hopkins began his 10-year reign as middleweight champion of the world, winning 20 consecutive bouts.
I had a fight where I got rid of a guy in 21 seconds, and I got the name The Executioner, and then I had to get the outfit, I had to get the look, because when you have a date with The Executioner, there's a chance you can wind up like Kelly Pavlik, and no matter what happens in the heat of battle, I have the power and ability to be able to change it. The fight with John Pascal was a fight where youth got whipped by experience. And when you're reckless, you'll win a lot of fights. Because when you're young, you're very brave. When you're young, you don't worry about looking across the street when you cross left and right. But when you're old, you get a little smarter. You look across maybe 3 or 4 times.
You don't have to love him, but you must respect him.
I've been boxing 2 decades, and your weapon is your body. And for me to be 46 years old, a lot of athletes would love to have been in the position where they can do things at this level and this stage of their life.
You were a great fighter at 36, but you weren't this exciting at 36.
When the legacy is laid out, I'll sit back and enjoy the rest of my life trying to see who come close.
The Bernard Hopkins legacy is one of tenacity, ambition, and success against all odds.
As long as I'm asked what I want to be remembered by, Bernard Hopkins, he might not have been perfect. He did a lot of things that's bad, but he had courage.